Peace be upon you. Let's see. What in the flabbergasting is going on here? No, seriously. Oh, yo. I need to set them up a bit better because they're kind of... There it is. Harvest, rationality. This is miracle energy, windfall, opportunity, marriage, and travel in reverse, possibly getting more acquainted or making it possible for you and someone from a different country, land, etc. to, well, come together, come into union, make an important decision here, which brings obviously major changes, but changes for the better overall. Someone is deciding to put overthinking on the side, trying to find solutions or a breakthrough that's rather more rational. They're going to put it on the side because they cannot seem to find a way. So someone is taking a leap of faith here, being guided by intuition, emotions. Someone's listening to their heart and taking an incredible leap, because travel is in reverse. So it is either incredible distance here, or this implies a permanent change of residence or... Okay, wow. Harmony. Again, someone is making a decision by just merely being guided, following their intuition. From the outside, it appears like a crazy idea. And yeah, a decision is being made. Someone's using their own willpower to determine what is best for them. They're seeking for stability, and this may imply relocating. Incredible change here. It's quite the undertaking. It's kind of transformative and kind of permanent. Yeah, someone is deciding to start over, fresh, elsewhere, taking what they've got, and despite lacking in an actual clear knowing on how they're going to do this, or how they're going to navigate past this decision, and once they've made that step, that leap, they're releasing control over how that's going to unfold or translate. And they're just going to go with the flow. This is going with the flow energy because of a genuine connection here. There's trust. Someone trusts their feelings towards someone, their connection, a leap of faith, yes. Genuine connections in the heart, affection, friendship, loyalty, mutual understanding, alignment. Two incredibly mature, wise people are coming together, are being brought together. Solitude. After introspection. Yes, someone has reached this newfound willingness, will, and solitude with the microcosm has gone within, and they now know what they want, who they are, despite or regardless of how that translates in the physical. Yep, they had time to think. So this was definitely, these are two people that are currently in separation, very physical, tangible separation. In between them being distance, probably difference in culture, beliefs, and to some extent, but they do share common value. They both want the same thing, and they're both ready to make this leap, this change. Even though it may not make sense, it does for them. Family. Marriage over there. 8, 9, 5, 7, 2. 10 is in reverse. 10 is in reverse. There's a reconnecting here. A reunion. Someone obviously you've already known, met. There may be currently a breakdown in communication, or you just left it there because you didn't know how to proceed, either of you. Yep. Hence the energy of surprise, confession, revelation, and communication. And knowing, again, at a very intuitive level. Deeper, more profound, more spiritual kind of a connection. There's an inner knowing. And again, connections in the heart. Sensuality ties in with water in this case specifically. And it's an energy of feeling reciprocated. And it's a connection in between two people that actually did go through the process of individuation, integration. They've done their shadow work. They've experienced loss. They had to literally go out of their minds in order to find themselves, right? So they had to release everything they ever thought they knew, and it was put to the test, challenged, shattered dreams and expectations and so on. A flip or shift in their perspective, in their level of faith. It's finding oneself. So once the two did find themselves, 11 adds up to 22, 4, 2, 2. The two here being the necessity for someone to go within, then the decision, the willpower, right? The alignment with the divine will, acceptance of oneself, knowing oneself first and foremost, and the need to actually conquer something individually on your own. So both of you did it. So this connection is happening not out of need, out of trauma, out of trying to fix one another. No. Again, two highly mature people are coming together. Probably by September. If this is someone that you've met in the past 5 years or months. I feel years here. It's reciprocated, the feelings are mutual, the trials have happened at the same time as well. The struggles and also the victories. 4 is here with bad health. Yeah, that period of convalescence, going within, introspection, solitude and isolation. Yeah, you probably met them before or around or right amidst the lockdown. Adjudication, there it is. You felt you were supposed to be together, that there was a fated, destined encounter. Yet at the same time, something didn't click. You never really quite understood rationally, we had rationality in reverse, why the two of you were brought together, the purpose of that encounter. Because you couldn't be together. You were both struggling the time you met. One of you may have actually been a lot more affected physically, physical ailments, actual physical ailments, depression mixed in, solitude, the need to reevaluate one's journey, one's life, one's beliefs, and identity crisis and so on. House in reverse, struggling with lack of stability. And this is a 2. Choice when it comes to residence. At least one of you found themselves stuck somewhere where they didn't want to be, or quite challenged by that, and preventing from connecting or moving towards one another, either due to lack of finances, again, lack of stability. This can imply work, support system, finance, and so on. So inability to actually connect because of distance, to do with where the two of you were being located. The connection was still here, but again, you were both kind of faced with something that you had to deal with separately. But the masculine couldn't travel or move towards someone. And they moved around a lot as well. For some reason, they lacked stability. They kept finding themselves in places or locations or homes that they seem to have been just merely temporary, and they didn't want to be there. Very unstable living situation. Whereas the other was stuck, unable to move or travel. Or marriage in reverse, the fated encounter that never came to pass, or to move to the next change in reverse. Yeah, because of stagnation, being stuck. So again, the lockdown contributed to this. Distant horizons in reverse, loss of dreams or hopes. Again, a need to reevaluate one's vision for the future, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, perception of reality. Loss of dreams, failure, loss of homes, or whatever is associated with stability, family. Occupation, a need to reassess, reevaluate, and find new ways to earn a living. Most definitely, there were changes in jobs as well. Someone may have worked from home, attempting to get creative and make the most out of it. Then again, they had no choice. At least they made good use of their time, learning new skills or trying to again focus on themselves. So self-expression, writing, anything to do with the hands, arts, crafts, improving a skill, exploring other options when it comes to purpose and how that ties in with their current occupation or work. The mature man, yeah, someone is ready. They've changed a lot from how you remember them, and it's definitely someone at a distance. Why couldn't this happen? Well, because nothing allowed it at the time. Timing, 11 there. Expect communication. Well, you're not expecting it. Again, that shock element. A positive one in this case. From someone who at this point may have already gray hair. Appears as very paced down, cool, calm, collected, wise, patient, docile, warm, loving. Again, this energy of someone who has traveled a lot and at a distance. Yeah. Something important. There it is on the table. This is also the bag that usually the fool carries, right? Takes whatever's most precious, and yeah. Great worry over nothing. You've suffered a lot because of the separation, constantly trying to understand. Something was hidden. It was real, it was tangible, it was there. This connection, right? What you felt was real. Yet at the same time, what was it for? What does this even mean, right? You got stuck and couldn't lead it to the next level, so the next stage. And that's why you got, what is this even? I cannot ignore it, I cannot leave it behind. And period of prosperity and abundance. Give us our daily bread. Harvest energy, we had it previously. Temptation will test you. The forbidden fruit, or something that seems as rather, again, impossible, dangerous, risky. The choice. Changes in your life. Yep, there it is. Feminine. Strong water and earth energy. Deep friendship with someone of the same sex. The teapot. This is also the energy of a conversation. I need to relax, sit down, gently and warmly, open up towards one another. Have this beautiful conversation, very sincere revelation, right? Let's look at this. What is this? So expression of one's feelings over a cup of tea. Very warm energy again. And there's the sun energy and the hat. You will be playing a different role. This is someone changing their status, probably from single to married. Discord amongst friends and family. You will be tempted to talk to someone about this. Speaking of the teapot, I would advise you not to until you actually process. So treat this conversation you're going to have with this person as sacred. Okay, process it on your own. Strong advice there. This in between you and them. Okay, careful about this. Depression energy as well. Probably the revelation here is about the two of you having felt this separation, this lack. A lot more intensely than you would have thought. Yep, there was talk about, I believe the both of you tried to talk about this connection and explore it. And reminder also of the difference in culture, especially a very specific one for the masculine. Wisdom. Peace and harmony. Wind chimes. Here's the air energy. Air, this is covering the crown, right? So this is an illuminated masculine. Very mature one. April energy may tie in with the sun, moon, or rising. And again, I sense this leap of faith. It's a courageous act that's being taken. Leo season. This is the beginning of a phase that will most likely kind of close out or ultimately become permanent change by April next year. Trust your intuition. Deep personal strength and peace that assures success. So the Valley also reveals again this energy that even though it was restricted, it appeared as restricted, it was necessary. You were being protected, provided for. There was a healing stage here. Again, reminiscing, analyzing, introspection, meditation, prayer, personal strength. You both needed to conquer this on your own. It's the cocooning energy of a valley, whereas you're surrounded by what appears to be, threatening giants around you, but at the same time, everything is provided right there. So it was a necessary state, even though imprisonment, right, came through. That was the purpose. Good advice from the wise person, the owl energy. You may want to check your Mayan zodiac or theirs. Unsettled times ahead, need to plan ahead. Again, kangaroo is the energy of the leap, the being sheltered and protected, close by, keeping something close to your chest or heart. It's also about the importance of the gut, the belly, the womb, right? Gestation periods, rebirth and transformation. But also the abruptness of certain choices and decisions that we perceive as we leap, right, towards something. I guess you could associate also with the Six of Swords energy as, right, you need to move forward, except that that one is giving you time to ponder, to process, and even to try and anticipate or control the process. It actually can be a lot slower and a lot more terrifying, especially if you feel as if you're running from something or escaping something without a clear knowledge of where you're heading. It's almost like the journey in the rivers of the underworld, right? But here, it's kind of like, it's rather more abrupt. It's a different kind of a rhythm. It implies swift movements, courage, decisions that you just gotta make and jump. Just gotta move forward. And if jumping is the only way you can do it, that's what exactly this masculine does. Even though it may appear to go against their very nature, to be impulsive, they can be instinctive. There's a difference. And they're instinctively moving towards something, holding close to something that they perceive as pure and worth taking the chance for, either to preserve, protect, right? So whether they're doing this for their own sake, in order to, for once, listen to their inner higher self, inner child, however that may translate, their own intuition, or they're doing it with the intention of trying to provide or be there for someone else, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Someone is taking a leap of faith. And it speaks of unsettled times, as in having no control over what's in front of you. And you just gotta leap when the time comes. Again, if you feel that the leaping is the only way you can move forward, and I feel this is exactly the case for this connection specifically here. There seems to be no other way. It implies some form of a leap in the unknown, perceived as a possible danger. You may have had warnings, or, pardon, your very attempt to actually make sense or try and control this process has failed over and over again. Attempts to communicate or convey or find solutions in between the two of you also failed. At this point, it's do or die energy. The shark. Take care, there will be a loss in material wealth. I believe it's already there. It happened. It already happened. So again, the lack of finances. But there seems to be some form of an opportunity or windfall for someone. Again, a new job or raise. But this implies this very leap that they're taking. That is basically what opens back that flow. Their motivations and the fact that they're willing to take that chance. Opens them up to opportunities that otherwise, if they were to try and strategize and navigate the shark-ridden waters, they wouldn't have found. They literally is almost jumping from this shark-infested sea to waters to what appears to be a lake, rather more limited and restrictive and lacking in actual opportunities or clarity, but it brings safety. You are highly thought of. Ah, yes, you are. It's someone you've left behind. Yep, you've met in the past. And as they look at you, even though they may not even probably remember your face, that's not how they perceive or connect with you or think of you. Different kind of a connection. It's not merely based on physical attraction or a journey. Yes, the carriage. You may be dealing with a Cancer energy, Pisces, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Gemini, or Libra, maybe Aquarius, Virgo, just a moment. Did I even turn this on? Okay, yeah. Same old professional me. Look at me go. Yeah. Seriously, how can I deepen my trust right now? Yeah, it's a leap of faith, all right. Trust, surrender, let go of the wheel. This cart is going on its own right now. That's powerful because who's leading the way? Well, Holy Spirit, Father, through the forces of nature, synchronicity, alignment, timing. You can trust yourself. Trust fully in yourself so that you can deepen your trust in others. Trust creates safety. And when we feel safe, we feel unstoppable, baby. So yes, the path is narrow, but it's no one and nothing can stop you on your tracks now. Today's soul action. Let go and trust. Today, find your center in the chaos. The center in that energy of deep personal strength and peace that ensures, right? Oasis in the midst of mountains. Sometimes you don't have to surmount things. Find your center in the chaos and be certain with yourself so you can deepen your trust in others. Is this recording I have flipped most likely, I'm sorry. Burn with desire, seriously. If I had a magic wand and could have anything I desired in life, what would I choose? I believe these two actually came to this realization that they're not optional in each other's lives or hearts or minds or thoughts, or maybe they fought against it, maybe they tried to understand what it is, maybe they perceived it as painful, as toxic, as tormenting, as obsessive, and yeah, in most cases it is. It can, I guess we could translate it that way until you actually, make those changes. Take it upon yourself to do something about it. So it's not as much as the fact that the two of you actually met. It's what you're going to do about that. How you respond to this intense of a connection. Apparently, this time out was absolutely crucial, necessary for this not to become yet another most unfortunate kind of a connection. Burn with desire. Okay, this was intense. And I don't feel it's the kind of just mere physical desire. Depends on how someone is set up at the time. It may have translated as such. I feel rather more strongly for the feminine. The physical pain of longing and missing the person, it may have translated as such. There were hence the necessity for shadow work because of the unexplored dark aspects of oneself. A need to, visit the subconscious, the hells and the waters, so the traumas, the pain, and a shadow aspects are potential to harm or do harm. So once that was explored, you may have thought, well, sooner or later I'm going to get over it. No, this wasn't your regular just physical attraction, was it? It may have translated as such. The shadow has many tricks up its sleeves. It's just going to paint it, it's just, your classical, just physical attraction. And again, most cases, yeah, that's the trial of fire. This was the trial of fire, but turns out that it was a lot deeper than that. And now that you've supposedly managed to alchemize this, overcome it, the pain, the obsessive thinking, the attachment, right? You went through your own trial, so to speak. The connection is still there. Burn with desire. There is power in your desires. Let them be fuel today, your fuel today. Your desires are your soul's wings, and it's time to take flight. Today go inward, your answers lie within. What do you desire? Choose what makes you happy and do that. That's exactly what someone is doing. And I believe the feminine is completely oblivious to it. There's a leap of faith here being taken. And apparently, the feminine may actually be in her masculine aspect right now, trying to be productive, to provide for herself, to be rational, whereas the masculine is the nurturing, the protective, but again, in a very masculine kind of a way, but still wants to provide, to nurture. Again, in their own manner. But he is going to be a giver nevertheless, so still a masculine, but has this protective energy about them. Is willing to basically self-sacrifice, which is usually a feminine kind of an archetypal energy. Because it implies genuine or selfless love, which usually mothers can tap into at that level, associated with Holy Spirit, the dove energy. So it speaks of wings and the dove. So someone is either attempting to make peace, they're seeking for land or stability, or where to set down roots or build a family, seek for a new job, a new future, start over basically. So that's why it's the dove. It's a sign of peace and good news, harmony, serenity, sincerity and purity of heart and spirit. It's the good messenger energy. You will know whether the person is sincere or not. It's quite dangerous because, for most cases, this does not apply. You may be dealing just with the trial of fire, and that's where it ends. It was all about you finding yourself in order for you, if you're meant to be in a connection, and your other half has done their own work, to actually connect with your actual counterpart, most likely soulmates, hopefully no more karmics, lessons learned, and in the rarest of cases, the twins, right, the power couples. But here we're speaking about a power couple, no doubts about it. Anything and anyone else had to be removed and had to return to self, to center, against their will, trashing all of their plans and everything they thought they were. The connection never went away here. They were together in this process, even though they may be at the two opposite ends of the world. They needed to connect because of there is no separation, make no mistake. But for it to actually transpire in the physical, in a manner that would actually help motivate and move someone towards integration, therefore going through the hells on their own, they needed to know that the other person exists, that it's out there. They never left, they were always there. Yet you had to conquer it physically on your own. So they needed to meet also because it concludes the whole of the connection rather than just merely metaphysical. Time stops when the two of them meet, defy all laws that one may know, or and helps them, shift their perspective about reality or the perception or projection of reality. So it triggers them to revert, go within, assess. But the circle is complete once they've met. So that one split second, that's eternity right there, when the two twins look into each other's eyes, enter each other's fields, literally. That's what they need to trigger that. It gives them what exactly that last piece of what they were, the tool that they needed in order for them to go in the hells and, yeah, conquer the dragon. So even though they do it independently, in reality they're not alone. So it may translate again as similar to the obsessive thinking, but if you look back, you will know that at one point it wasn't physical, even though it may have, your body may have responded to it in that manner. It wasn't. It was a connection that defied rationality, rationalism, logic, laws of nature, everything you thought you knew. You were constantly in this battle with whatever self constantly arose to try and define, know, individuate, do something about. So something then was placed almost as if there were enmity in between the two, but at the same time, the connection never shattered. No matter what you put in between these two, it will never shatter. So one needs to, the masculine is the one taking the leap. The feminine needs to determine what can you do to deepen your trust, is the first card we read. And the other is choosing to magician energy to actually manifest something, taking it upon themselves, taking that chance, that leap into the unknown, making use of everything they've got. They're putting it all in. Again, self-sacrifice, spirit of, risking it all. It's how it translates to their physical self. But their spirit knows that there's no other way, that this is the call. This is what they are called to do and what the connection is all about. And reconciliation. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Someone from your past is returning to your life. It's time. Again, no separation. He had her back all along. And that energy that we saw here, that he's seeing your back, he may have felt left behind or abandoned. So if you met at a distance, you probably were the one to leave. So right when you were the first to leave, he was left behind. And you never knew what you left behind. The longing, the awe, they were stuck in that moment. That energy of eternity, bliss, wholeness, home. How beautiful is it? Actual integration in the physical. They have to believe in their own ability, willpower, magician, and you have to open up now. With an empty cup, they'll pour. What comes out of it, he's gonna drink, ultimately. Okay. Beautiful. The twins are the most important achievement here. The twins reuniting, that's a miracle in the makings. We have a reversal, misfortune in reverse. We did sense that there are changes upon you. So things are going to start opening up for you, okay? Deception is in reverse. Anything that came in between you, veils, smoke, mirrors, deception, self-deception, there's been shadow work being done here. Deception is in reverse. Seeing things clearly rather perceiving them. And the choice. It had to be chosen. It had to be not imposed, not conditional, not, yeah. Allowance is here at the bottom of the deck. But let's see. Earth. Yes, manifestation. This is the final phase, whereas you would birth onto the world. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. 24. Alignment, again. We can associate this with the Chariot as well. Advancement, progress. Linear time-wise, it translates as us advancing forward. In reality, we're supposed to perceive it as the ladder, going upwards. The reminder is your body always, that's why I kept getting this message of Earth, and it shook you to your core, because your very frequency was changing and trying to adjust in this body, however that may have translated. Physical pain, lust, desire, longing, and genuine pain, right? As you would have experienced in a traumatic event. Once the separation occurred. Your body reflects, always reflects consciousness. And the affirmation is, within me, or within, at my very core, my very center, there lies my consciousness. At my center, heart. The eye of the heart. It raises from the lower realms, right? Goes into the gut. That's why gut is considered your second brain. That needs to fall into alignment, as above, so below. So the lower fires, passions come from below, whereas Holy Spirit descends from above through the mind. They have to meet here. Like fire and air, they should always aim up. But now you're basically manifesting something. So it's like water and earth. Something's being built here. The water is the moon that we saw, the feminine, that's now comfortable with being herself in a beautiful feminine energy. Us darkness, a potential, whereas the seed is planted. It's where light is born from. And him as a magician, as guided from above, obviously will instill or pour or fertilize, if you want. Powerful dynamics like fire and water. So again, this energy that they're looking back. This was quite intense because you did all the process on your own, and there was all the emotions that you would have felt for one another. They were there, but you never really separated. The hatred, the they were all there. So you constantly had them there within you, with wherever you looked, within the air you breathed, within the beatings of your heart, the blood in your veins, every cell in your body was being transformed, permeated, infused. You became one in a very tangible, physical way. Uziel, pardon. What language am I speaking? Check your accent, Bianca. Ooh. 31. Back to that 4. Pillars, foundations, completion, home. 4 elements. Completion, yes. Manifestation. 21 here, free. Yalel was the separation that you experienced. 4, there it is. And the lack of foundations, everything needed to shatter, stripped back to. And what remains is what needs to be built upon now. Just a moment, let me get this. Oh. Uziel. 31. 3 and 1. Now you're coming back together. There's that seed. The hope, initiation, communication, beginnings, rebirth, choice, masculine energy. Cancer into Leo. It's happening now. It's going into that Leo season. Now, yep. Maybe 4 days, for maximum to 4 weeks. Caring compassion, that's the connection you felt. Magnetic initially. Then when you tried to connect, there was no ability to rationalize that connection itself. Overwhelmed, overflowing with love and care for one another. You felt each other so intensely. You were home. That separation was terrible. Brutal. Venusian energy, by the way, as well. You see him? Anyway, whilst the angel's name means God is my strength, the energy of the card is one of powerful compassion. It is the compassion of being strong in yourself and your own purpose. When this card appears, it shows you must care about your own path at this time. The challenge is staying true to your own course. The lesson is every man and every woman is a star. Well, the two of you are a star, split in two. Okay? Morning and evening star. You appear as different, but you're one and the same. Venusian energy. The fish below is about prosperity, abundance, the multiplying, multiplication, and so on. Right? It's also about, obviously, sometimes ties in with high priestess, but magician energy as well. Fish being the symbol of Yeshua, associated with him, right? Water spirits, adaptation, financial prosperity and good health. Healing. I love that there are actually 2 and 2, right? And he stands right above them. He's looking to the right. Again, he's working through the masculine. Yep, he's calling the masculine. He called them into higher understanding, right? Into their higher self. And now they're guiding them towards the feminine in the depths. Do not fear darkness. Go to her. So beautiful. Obviously, this is a very feminine symbol, but yeah, we're not going to go into that. But it's that energy again of being protected, cocooned. Survival energy, protection. Some form of a miracle that holds you above the waters. Gives you safe shelter. And it's very limited and restricted, but it's the exact shelter that you needed. I guess this is also the energy. Let's just cut the nonsense here. It's plenty of fish in the sea. Plenty of fish energy. Yeah, there are plenty of fish in the sea. That's why it's so miraculous and amazing to look at animals, how they easily individuate each other. Whereas humans struggle so much with this need to, do the karmic work and with one another. Burn out the karma, do the shadow work. I think humanity is ready to rather move past that and just, this is my person, period. Grass is not greener because I don't compare. I take my grass, make the most out of it, cherish it. So this idea of having options, it's where the problems or the reason. Then again, it was also an opportunity to explore this and get to learn so much about ourselves. But having options is an actual deception, one of the biggest, I believe, ever. Yeah, you do. Does it mean you actually should explore all those options? It's like at the supermarket, right? You will not be able to eat all the biscuits because you got to exercise free choice. It's where humanity ultimately kind of flopped terribly due to excess, due to abundance, not lack. What the whole concept of the miracle of Yeshua, for example, multiplying the fish, had to do with rather perception. They were in scarcity. He just shifted their perception, hence altered their reality. No, there's enough fish. He didn't multiply the fish. He altered their perceptions of those who actually experienced and projected the collective reality. So understand the difference in between what you project individually and what happens when we interact and exchange with one another in order to confront our pieces of the puzzle, our own pieces of truth, experiences, our own truth ultimately. And how crucial it is that you do not ever betray yourself. Because that's the gift, that's the blessing, when we interact and exchange with one another. And we see the prosperity, the abundance. And of course, if there's lack, if there are transgressions, we're also going to be called to see those as well. The work is ours. We don't get to pick, just choose love and light. In this world as it is, nah. There's something else as well. Something dreadful, terrible. We got work to do. So share your blessings. Ultimately, perception is extremely powerful. You have to believe it. That's why placebo works. And that's why many are losing their mind over counterfeit or false love or partners or connections or twins. They're playing on it. All you need to do is convince someone that what they see externally is true, or give it a definition, specific definition of it. And if it's convincing enough, they start integrating as if it's an actual truth, even though it didn't stem from them. It wasn't, right, their own determination. So therefore, they're projecting someone else's truth, not their own. Hence, they're constantly confronted with a reality that defies them or seems to resist them or doesn't translate properly, as in, why didn't I manifest? Why didn't the person love me? Who said they ever did? Who convinced you of that? Well, your shadow, but who broke you to a point whereas you were unable to actually perceive someone's genuine feelings or intentions towards you? Which self determined what someone else is going to feel, or attempted to convince them otherwise, or influence them, or in the name of love, right? This is not the case here. I believe the two of them actually held back from trying to do just that. Impose, influence, demand. It doesn't mean they didn't do it individually, Again, they went through all the spectrum of emotions here. But they didn't need to actually go through it by being physically together. Quite the opposite, separately. They alchemize that toxicity on their own. This is love, because they didn't put it on one another, even though it hurt them terribly. Personal power and will, yes. One more card for you and I leave you here. Defensiveness. Needing to fight for something. Find something worth fighting for, right? Standing up for something. And quite the warriors, the two of you. Both of you were fighting at the time you've met. And then the fight continued, but separately, each on your own. Yep. You had to conquer this individually. Strong Cancerian energy, by the way. And Piscean over there. The Chariot in reverse, 7-7. There's a portal. Unexpected arrival here. Something that doesn't make sense. Someone may make, again, that leap of faith, a decision. Someone else may be defensive due to that lack of trust. How can I deepen my trust now? You're right to be defensive and distrustful at this time. But there's an unexpected communication or expression of intention of arrival, or wow, that seems to be disastrous or nonsensical or illogical for a reunion, that you absolutely are gonna be in shock. You don't expect this reunion here. Not at all. This unexpected return of someone from your past. Strong Cancer again, or Pisces over here. Some fire somewhere. Someone, there was resistance. Probably the masculine initially. Whereas the runner chaser, I believe the dynamic should have been, if it were to have been the toxic kind, the runner chaser, right? Feminine ran, saw her from behind. And he should have chased. He didn't. The masculine did not chase. Oh, I see. That triggered the dark feminine. Ah, yes, she had to go within. Oh, wow. Did this trigger you or what? Absolutely. Incredibly. Let me find the right word. Hell hath no fury. Queen of Wands in reverse. Oh, yes, had no fury. And what did she do? Virgo energy here. She went within. Also, check your fire placements. Blessings. Shalom.